Hey guys, this is Bob from Michigan Machinist. It's been a minute, so we're going to do a recap on Bob's Garage. So let's get started. So the last time we were in here, we had all my machines in here, and this was literally a machine shop that I did machine work for until I purchased another company, a bigger machine shop. So since then, there's a couple things I don't really use the lathe or the grinder. So I got rid of those. Those are down the hill. Still have them. They're in my shop down the hill. So this is where we're at. Still have the air compressor. And my thought on this whole setup was this is going to be fabrication because I like doing fabrication. The other wall is going to be machining and the opposite wall is going to be automotive. So this is what I got going again so far. So got just a stand-up air compressor, 220, 60 gallon, which is perfect for everything I do. Now, when I had all my machines here, it would run a little bit when you had the air mister going and you're using quite a bit of air all the time, but it was fine to catch up and it's fine for a garage shop. So still have that. Got my bench grinder still. And again, got a green wheel on there. I've never changed that back. Don't use that anymore, but that was for carbide. This is kind of new. I stole this from our shop, just a stand-up drill press. We don't use it much there, so I brought it home. And just so you know, if you have a wife like mine, I get to have the whole garage spring, summer, and fall. Her only requirement is to come get in her car and pull in and pull out inside the garage during the winter months. Other than that, I get the whole garage. So thank you, wife. She's videoing this, by the way. So got the American Rotary for the 3-phase still. I have it unhooked because right now I only have the Bridgeport, and the Bridgeport's against that wall. So my goal is I have to rerun the wire above the window and the door to come to my Bridgeport. I also want to run the air to that also. So currently it's unhooked, but if anyone wants to know, this is how you get 3-phase. And again, it was very easy. They actually got direction book. I had one of my buddies was an electrician, came in and wired it for me. But literally it runs 2-phase, comes in, kicks it down to a small electrical motor, turns it into 3-phase. And always the green button is the money button. So that's how you get industrial 3-phase machinery inside your garage. Awesome. So behind that, I got my torches still. And then this is kind of new from the shop. We bought this specifically for a job, and it's just a bead roller. But I got a couple custom dies that we machined ourselves for a profile that we were after. Tested it out a few times. Didn't actually do what we were wanting it to do. So we only bought it for that job. We ended up going a different route, so I get to take it. Also got a bender here, and we got into some furniture work, just bending some rails, and no longer do that, so I get to keep that also. Behind there's an arc welder, buzz box, and then my TIG welder, plasma cutter, and my MIG. So my goal is to have none of these. All my plugs are in the corner of my garage. So I have to do extension cords right now, which drives me crazy. And you only have so much time in a day. So when you're busy at the other shop trying to get that going off the ground, you only have so much time inside your hobby shop. So you only got so much energy. So my goal again is run the American Rotary over to my Bridgeport, and I want to have all these plugged in and ready to go. So when I want to fabricate something, I'm good to go. So still got the bench. I just got one of those window fans that, exhaust in or out. So in a small shop that's concealed, as you're grinding or welding, it gets dusty pretty quick. So you can crack a door and exhaust that, and then you have fresh air coming in. Or if you're welding, like I said, getting dirty stuff in here. Last time I had some people comment on my Webb's X-Tool die maker. So those are stamping dies. That is what we call a web. You got a roll of steel that comes in, and each station does something else. So that's a prog die, a couple prog dies from way back when. And we get to the other side. I have a whole drawer full of parts. And then, of course, my grinder rack that I had custom made. It's all electric plug-in now. Now it needs to be upgraded to batteries, I get. But until these things go bad, I'm not getting rid of them. So, like my first video, I don't like changing the wheels back and forth. So I have a grinder for each. Usually a cutoff wheel, a grinder wheel, and a flap wheel. And then I have all my different grinding wheels right on the stand. So I wanted to put rollers on it afterwards, and I could roll it wherever I'm welding. But usually when you're fabricating, you're either plasma cutting and MIG welding. So I got a couple nozzles where you could just stick the MIG gun in there. And this bench is like that also. That's what this is for, the MIG gun. And then that's my ground. So obviously the MIG welder is right next to my bench because that's what you use the most. You just flip it in here. You're doing some welding. You stick the nozzle in there and you're ground. So that's what we got here. Come to the side, this is my heater, and this will heat this whole place because it's insulated. It is connected to the house. And this is also my seat when my back starts hurting. It's like a heating pad on there. So sometimes the wife don't like it because I'm at my heating pad. So I got the Bridgeport still. This is my baby. It ain't hooked up like I said, but I want air coming to here. Obviously, the 3-phase come in here, and a couple plugs of 110. So I need the DRO and my power feed to work. So those are both 110. So pretty awesome. And again, this is my money maker. This is what I mean, at home, you want to mill something out, custom fabricate. This is what I got. If I want to do lathe or grinding work, I can go to my bigger shop and do that sorts. So this was my fabrication side. So I got my air, all my welders, my grinders, everything's over here. And I have enough room where I can do a project. And if I need to, I can push the car. So this is my other hobby. It's on hold, of course, like everything else. You only have so much time, but I can push this to the other side and do a big project here. If I need to pull a car in and work on it, I can push it back over because it is on rollers. So this is the machining side. So got the Bridgeport, and then have obviously the cabinet, and it's filled with all my, I got parallels, 1, 2, 3 blocks, 2, 4, 6 blocks, custom jaws, you name it, mics. If I want anything else, I can go back to the shop and get, but I got gauge blocks in there, drill set, whatnot. But same cabinet as I had. And these doors are just there to keep the dust off of all that stuff. So then again, these two are kind of machining boxes, and they're filled with, new tools, some used, but this is my pretty much drills and taps. I got end mills in here. It used to be Fuller, but when you got a shop somewhere else, you come home and steal some of your home stuff. And then some inserts for my insert cutters. Again, drawer for reamers. This is my tooling for the Bridgeport. Some holders, some collets. Got a height gauge. I got a surface plate over there if I need it. And this is some of my, again, older, bought in an auction or garage sale tools. Used stuff, but there's always something in here that you're needing. So that's the machining side. And then this is the automotive side, is how I'm trying to segregate it. So got to have a refrigerator called Alan, and that's for my buddy Alan Miller, who actually got me started in the machining. So, of course, you got to have, cold drinks in there. And then this is some designs that I had did on my previous job. And I was tasked with stopping a bullet. So that's kind of a small ball stud. And they were going to transfer it from an area to another area through blow feed through air. So here's the tube that they were going to pump a bunch of air in and blow it, across the aisle. And this is my way of stopping it. So it came here and stopped, and we were going to have a cylinder that dropped it off, retract, and a robot would come pick it up in the exact spot. So this was my hand design. I like to touch and feel stuff, meaning instead of writing on paper, I'm just going to fab something up real quick and prove out the design. And I think they still use a version of this to this day. This other one is called the Burnish Buster. And I believe my boss kind of stole the design and told his boss it was his. But pretty much you have to burnish these balls to a perfect smooth finish. And I stayed late one night and came up with this contraption and put a bearing in here to where it would drop into a couple of feed rolls and it could burnish it. So they spent weeks, if not some months, trying to develop this concept, and nothing they did would work. And one night I come up with this, bolted to the machine, and it worked. And they still use this to this day. And here is some gauging that was for that job. So this is an aluminum prototype that's got a little V that drops in there like that, and we could measure the ball, and it could go back and forth. And from this part, they made these parts that went into production. So for years they ran this thing, and there was a couple of interchangeable pieces as they wore out. So anyways, kind of cool things that I was proud of. They just sit here and remind me, every day as I walk into the house, either, hey, I'm glad I don't work at that place, or look at the thing and look at some of the things we accomplished. So got an automotive toolbox. That's actually one of my first, and it's seen better days. This thing's kind of sideways on here. And then cabinet full of crud. Don't look in here, but I can hide that stuff. People don't see it with the doors. This was one of the builds I did earlier on Michigan Machinist, and I actually hate it. I hate the doors. I made these too tight, so if you pull them down here, the door don't want to open because it's too tight of a fit. I have to open up these. You have to pull them at the top, but the other cabinet I had done earlier, I loved it, and it's much wider. So I want to build a set of doors that I can open up and see the whole thing. And again, this cabinet is repurposed from Ferris. So it was, I believe they put colored paper or different paper in here for some class. And it got repurposed to a bookshelf, and then I repurposed it to a cabinet. So you just reuse stuff. So automotive, this is all kind of automotive tools here. So my thought is, pull a car in here, we can work on it. And then, of course, you got a grill. So I got to keep that inside. And then I still have my forge that I got started. And now is the weather. Usually do it in the fall when it's cold because you need air and oxygen. So now's the time I get to play with it. I tuck it over here, keep the lines up, but I can pull it out and do some forging and make some cool things. So this is the garage shop, man. And if I can leave you guys with something to get started, you just got to get started. Find your niche. Just find one thing. And this kind of helped me out. I seen this visual one time, and I just want to leave it with you guys. And this is kind of your time. And I'm not talking about the things you have to do, you know. Can you see my circle, honey? No? At all? Well, let me turn this off. How about now? You see my circle now? All right. So this is things that you don't have to do. You know, come watch football, you know. Go work on your little car project or something. Again, these are all just little bits of your time that's not family related or whatnot. This is going over buddies and hanging out. You can make as many as you want and just be honest and think of these little moments of time. And this is what you got. You don't have so much time. Or you can just focus on one thing. And if you look at where you can reach your goals at, and I'm talking about starting a company, starting a business, an invention, whatever it is, you got to start knocking out your little things. Put what's important. You're going to go on that trail ride with your buddies. And I'm not saying give up everything all the time. I'm just saying in the majority, you can't go fishing, you can't go hunting, you can't do this and that. For a moment, focus on that one thing and give it a try and see how far you get. So again, Bob with Michigan Machinist. Hope you liked it, and there'll be more to come.